Next, we have a special tribute, and I'd like to just go back in history a little again and talk about the history of the naming of our main boulevard in the project. I started my college days in 1970 at the University of Wisconsin, and there was a professor that everybody called Chief. And I was in a different program, and everybody in the business school over time said, you got to take a class with the chief. Well, finally, I was introduced to the chief. This man was a professor of real estate at the University of Wisconsin, and he was a quadriplegic. And he rolls in his wheelchair, and he stops everybody. I mean, his presence would fill up this tent. He was as sharp as a tack, and such an exuberant, energetic person, despite his handicap. And he's led a legion of people through, starting in the early mid-60s through today, in the real estate program. And there's Graaskampians everywhere across the country. And very, very excellent professor, really taught people about the feasibility and appraisal process, and really developed a state-of-the-art real estate program, which now is known as the #1 real estate program in the country at the University of Wisconsin-Madison. So very excited that we had the opportunity to name the entrance to RidgePort after Dr. Graaskamp, the chief. I'll tell you a funny story. When we were was back a few years, they were finally going to name the center after Graaskamp. So we had a big gathering in Madison, and they had a lot of pictures. People were talking about stories. So they were talking about one story. Was this incredible story about Chief was a big fisherman, and he had a boat in the Keys, and he would lock himself into the back of the boat, and he had an electronic reel. He had a poker that he used to operate the electronic reel. So they're out in the Gulf fishing for sailfish. And a big storm blows up. So there are about 6 or 8 guys on the boat. There's Graaskamp locked into his wheelchair in the back of the boat. So all the 6 guys run for cover. They go into the front of the boat, down into the cabin, lock the door, get away from the storm. Well, there's Graaskamp sitting out there, yelling and screaming. So the picture shows some guy coming out with a tarp, throws it over the top of his head, running back into the boat, leaving Graaskamp out there to fend for himself. Anyway, we have the pleasure today of having Mike Brenna, who runs the center, the Graaskamp Center for Real Estate at the University of Wisconsin, as his part-time job. Mike, as many of you may know, is an icon in Chicago in the industrial real estate industry, and has led a very, very successful career. Wisconsin was very successful in getting Mike to spend some time leading the center, and he's done a phenomenal job in growing and the influence of the center in expanding the name of the University of Wisconsin across the world. So I'm very pleased to have Mike here today, come up and talk a little bit about the Graaskamp Center and accept a plaque that we have prepared. Mike, please come on up. Jennifer, you want to come up, please? If you haven't met Jennifer, Jennifer is the project manager for RidgePort. She is also a Graaskampian, and we hired her out of school, and she's done a phenomenal job for us leading RidgePort over the last 10 years. Mike, thank you.
Okay. Well, thank you, James. Really appreciate, first of all, the invitation and the honor. And before I start, I just wanted to say something to the mayor. What do you think about Bucky Badger next to the Michelin Man? Right on 55. I think that would look pretty good. Well, again, thank you. The university is honored. When I got a call from Jennifer, I told everybody at the university that Professor Graaskamp was going to have a street named after him. And I think it was the first time that's ever happened, so thank you very much. And bring back the good news to Madison, Wisconsin. So, Mr. Martell mentioned a little bit about the history of Graaskamp. So, at age 19, he was stricken with polio, and he ends up spending the rest of his life at the University of Wisconsin. And the University of Wisconsin, with the real estate program, would then go on to graduate more people out of that program than any university in the world. And as Jim mentioned as well, the university program would go on to be #1 in the nation. So we're very proud of that. But I think what we're really proud of is that real estate education really matters. If you give somebody a great education, they can actually build a great building like that. If you gave somebody an opportunity like that, you can not only do something for yourself, but you can do something for your community as well. And so it's really on behalf of what real estate education is able to do for communities and people that we thank them. So it's good to see one of our native sons do well. So Professor Graaskamp would be very proud of you, as we are. Thank you very much.